The Saab Sonett stands as one of the most intriguing sports cars to emerge from Sweden during the post-war automotive renaissance, combining aircraft engineering principles with innovative automotive design. Born from a company primarily known for building military aircraft, the Sonett brought Saab's aeronautical expertise to the sports car world, creating something genuinely unique in the automotive landscape. While never achieving the commercial success of mainstream European sports cars, the Sonett developed a devoted following that continues to celebrate its distinctive character decades after production ceased. Tracing the Sonett's lineage reveals a fascinating story that begins in the mid-1950s when Saab's engineers, seeking to broaden the company's automotive presence, began experimenting with a small sports car concept. The name Sonett itself carries an interesting origin. It's derived from the Swedish phrase sonett, meaning so neat or so elegant, which perfectly captured the designer's vision for this compact performance vehicle. The initial Sonett, later known as the Sonett 1, was developed as a limited production racing car intended to compete in a 750cc sports car class that ultimately never materialized. The original Sonett Y, 1955 to 1957, was truly a marvel of innovative engineering. Only 6 examples were produced, featuring an aircraft-inspired monocoque chassis constructed from aluminum and fiberglass, revolutionary materials for automotive use at that time. Powered by a 3-cylinder, 2-stroke engine generating just 57.5 horsepower, the Sonett I nonetheless achieved impressive performance due to its extremely light 1,300-pound curb weight. Its stunning, hand-formed aluminum body showed clear aircraft influence, with its smooth, aerodynamic shape and minimal drag. The Sonett E's front-hinged, one-piece clamshell hood provided unparalleled access to the engine compartment, a feature that would influence later Sonett models. After this initial limited production run, the Sonett concept lay dormant for nearly a decade before Saab revisited the idea in the mid-1960s. The Sonett 2, introduced in 1966, represented Saab's first serious attempt at entering the sports car market, particularly targeting American buyers who were developing an appetite for European sports cars. Unlike its predecessor, the Sonett 2 was designed for regular production and featured a fiberglass body mounted on a steel chassis, maintaining the lightweight philosophy while improving manufacturability. The Sonett 2 initially employed the same 2-stroke, 3-cylinder engine found in Saab's standard models, producing approximately 60 horsepower. While modest by today's standards, this power plant provided adequate performance in the lightweight Sonett. The car's most distinctive feature was unquestionably its unusual body design, featuring a dramatically sloped nose, pop-up headlights, and a rear section that ended somewhat abruptly compared to other sports cars of the era. The design was controversial even in its day, but it certainly succeeded in establishing a visual identity entirely different from its British and Italian competitors. Inside the cabin, the Sonett 2 maintained Saab's aircraft-inspired approach to ergonomics. The dashboard featured a comprehensive array of instruments, all angled toward the driver in a cockpit-like arrangement. Bucket seats provided excellent lateral support, and the shifter for the 4-speed manual transmission was mounted on the steering column, an unusual configuration for a sports car. The interior was snug but functional, with minimal concessions to luxury, emphasizing the car's focused sporting intent. A significant change came in 1967 when increasingly stringent emissions regulations, particularly in the United States, forced Saab to abandon the 2-stroke engine. The Sonett 2 was hastily re-engineered to accommodate a Ford-sourced V4 engine, producing 65 horsepower. While this increased power slightly, the heavier V4 altered the car's weight distribution and handling characteristics. Despite this compromise, the Sonett 254 continued to offer respectable performance with a 0 to 60 mph time of around 12.5 seconds and a top speed approaching 100 mph. The Sonett 3, introduced in 1970, represented the model's final evolution and most refined form. Designer Sergio Coggiola created a more contemporary body style, featuring a sleeker profile, improved visibility, and a more conventional rear hatch that greatly enhanced practicality. The pop-up headlights remained, now vacuum-operated rather than manually controlled as on the Sonett 2. The most visible change was the elimination of the controversial 365 bump on the hood, which had been necessary to accommodate the V4 engine in the Sonett 2, but was engineered out of the Sonett 3 through careful repositioning of the engine. Mechanically, the Sonett 3 retained the Ford V4 engine, now producing 65 to 73 horsepower, depending on the model year and emissions equipment. The most significant mechanical change was moving the shifter from the steering column to the floor, addressing complaints from sports car enthusiasts who found the column shift arrangement counterintuitive for spirited driving. Disc brakes at the front and drums at the rear provided adequate stopping power, while the front-wheel drive layout, unusual for sports cars then and now, contributed to the Sonett's unique handling characteristics. The Sonett 3's interior showed significant refinement over its predecessors, with improved seats, a redesigned dashboard, and better ventilation. However, it remained a driver-focused environment with minimal luxury features. The car's front-wheel drive configuration did provide one practical advantage over many contemporary sports cars. The absence of a transmission tunnel meant the interior could offer more cabin space than might be expected in such a compact vehicle. Production of the Sonett continued until 1974, when the combination of increasingly stringent safety and emissions regulations in the United States, the model's primary market, and the global oil crisis made the continuation of a niche sports car model untenable for Saab. Over its entire production run across all three generations, fewer than 10,300 Sonetts were manufactured, with the vast majority being Sonett 3s. What makes the Sonett particularly special in automotive history is how it embodied Saab's unconventional approach to car design. While most sports cars of the era featured rear-wheel drive, longitudinally mounted engines, and conventional body structures, the Sonett proudly embodied Saab's aircraft-derived philosophy, front-wheel drive, transverse engine layout, and advanced structural design focused on aerodynamics and safety. The Sonett also featured Saab's pioneering concern with safety, including a rigid passenger compartment and deformable structure designed to absorb impact energy, concepts well ahead of their time. The Sonett's legacy lives on through dedicated enthusiast communities that maintain and restore surviving examples. Today, a well-preserved Sonett, particularly the rare Sonett I or early Sonett 2 with two-stroke engine, represents a coveted collector's item. Values have appreciated significantly in recent years as automotive enthusiasts increasingly recognize the unique place these distinctive Swedish sports cars occupy in automotive history. Perhaps the most enduring aspect of the Sonett's appeal is how it represents an alternative vision of what a sports car could be. Rather than following the conventional wisdom established by British and Italian manufacturers, Saab created something entirely its own, a sports car that emphasized intelligent engineering over brute force and innovative solutions over tradition. In doing so, the Sonett established a template for quirky intellectual sports cars that continues to inspire cult following decades after production ended. The Saab Sonett reminds us that the sports car world has room for different approaches and philosophies. In a market segment often dominated by formulaic solutions, the Sonett dared to be different, a quality that ensures its place in automotive history as one of the most characterful and distinctive sports cars of its era. For those fortunate enough to experience a Sonett firsthand, the car offers a driving experience unlike any other, combining aircraft-inspired design with sporting intent in a package that could only have come from Sweden.